guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Protege pack. Protege makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Teach Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teach Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Teach Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Teach Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Teach pack. Feel the Teach, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tapping into the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host today, Anton from AntonDaniels.com. Let me make some adjustments to my camera really quickly. One sec. Make sure this is right. You know what I'm saying? Gotta make sure that's right. While I'm at it, Trillmatic. Let me get a couple things. It's gonna be an interesting show today. No worries, no worries. Just want to make sure that everything is right. Gotta set the stage for greatness. Still got my 100K up in here. Got that, got my balloons. Yo, somebody sent me some balloons. Sent me a card. I appreciate everybody for continuing to hold me down, sending me all of this great stuff. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you to Chris. Said you probably think the balloons are corny. Haha. Don't care, just super proud of you. You're nothing short of amazing. Keep going. Yo, thank you to everybody that continues to hold Anton from AntonDaniels.com down. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I rock with y'all. I'm nothing without you. I'm nothing without you. So I do want to acknowledge everybody that continues to hold me down. Shout out to Spencer Campbell with the early donation. Says, I'm coming to the front of the congregation. Jalen Rose said we should stop saying Mount Rushmore for political reasons. I sent the video. I'm going to have to check that out. What's going on, friends and family? How are y'all doing today? It is an awesome day. Went to the game last night. Let me tell you something. Gosh, I can't even tell that story. I can't even tell that story because it is something that is between me and them. But I will tell you that I have a newfound respect for some people on the individual level. You know, I don't really care for rappers specifically, but maybe I'll tell that story a little bit later. Let's get the housekeeping out of the way. First and foremost, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Secondly, make sure that you give a shout out to our sponsor, Tej Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Thank you, Tej Hanley, for continuing to hold us down. Third, make sure you follow me on all of my social media platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. I'm going to become more of an active Twitter user now that Elon Musk has laid off a significant amount of the left that continues to lean into the things that are worse for us, including censorship. So follow me on all of those social media platforms. Those links are in the description also. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. So I released the Patreon exclusive video as promised today. And the video highlights and breaks down every single thing that we have planned for you guys through the end of the year, as well as going into 2023. We have the Patreon exclusive retreat coming up next year. It gives you all of the details specifically of the Patreon meetup that we have going on in Miami for New Year's Eve. So if you are looking for the hotel that I'm going to be at, if you are looking for the details of what's going to happen, if you're looking to see what the location looks like, if you're looking to understand how we're going to be moving into the next year, that is in the Patreon exclusive. So if you are a bag chaser and you are going to be in the Miami area, New Year's Eve, watch that video because it breaks down all of the insight and information of what's going on. It also gives you the latest update on what we got going on for Build a Business and the Patreon. And then it also highlights the different things that you need to tap into, including the Discord, because we don't want to leave different pieces off the table because those pieces also it feeds into what it is that we are trying to do as far as build you up into being a perfect person. The perfect person. That's the goal. Being a bag chaser, especially for my new bag chasers and for everybody that continues to rock with me, being a bag chaser is not just making a lot of money. Being a bag chaser is becoming the best version of yourself, understanding that the money comes with it. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you. So I want you guys to get every single benefit that comes along with this bag chaser movement that we building. We have a significant amount of members in the Discord alone. We have over 2,000 plus that's linked to the Patreon. And then we have significant more members inside of the Patreon itself. And then more importantly, we want to get to 10,000 next year. Next year, we want to do 10,000 members strong. And then that's when we'll be officially an army. Right now, we are a movement. But I want an army. I want an army of people that continues to become this great network of people that's helping, pouring into each other, leveling up and becoming the best version of ourselves. Last but not least, if you have not already, make sure you email me if you're looking to level up and get a coaching call specifically. Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com, and then we're going to get that popping. All right, I'm going to get you on a Zoom call or a personal call, and then hopefully I can add some more value into your life. Hey, I got a question for y'all. Should because me and Charleston, we do our thing, and we continue to put together the content, and I'm not even really looking to monetize any Charleston White content. I just make sure that I drop the full videos inside of the Patreon. I got the Lamar Odom video coming within the next 2 days since I dropped the exclusive today. And then I'll drop a clip here and there on YouTube, especially since YouTube is censoring everything and I don't monetize those videos anyway. But I'm wondering, should me and Charleston White go live tonight on the Anton Daniels channel? Should me and Charleston White go live tonight on the Anton Daniels channel? Y'all let me know what y'all thoughts are. I'm curious. Let me know in the chat. Oh, snaps. Oh, snaps. We got a celebrity in the house today. Yay. Derrick Jaxn II. Derrick Jaxn II. Little Black Book. I'm curious. I'm going to give you a chance. I know you may not necessarily be familiar with what we do here over this platform, over in this space. You may not be familiar with what we do over here in this space, but I'm not that far removed from doing what I do. I do these legendary live streams where I deep dive into people because I'm petty. I'm petty like that. So this is what I'm proposing. Okay, this is what I'm proposing live. I can drop the link in the description. You are more than welcome to cam up and have a conversation with me, and I think it would be a good conversation, civil discourse. No beef. Or I can do my own interpretation of what you decided to have a conversation with me about without me. See, I'm different, right? I'm the type of dude that will invite you up on the platform to have a conversation, whereas you was simping to your audience, ladies, watch out for a man like this. Ladies, I'm Derrick Jaxn, watch out for a man like this. So, I'm going to drop the link in the description for you to be able to cam up. You're a very smart man. I like the way you do things. You're a very, very smart man. So let me go ahead and get that link for you. I'm going to give you an opportunity. Hold on. I got you, boo. I got you, baby girl. So this is for the 91st Black Book of the Little. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'm going to give you an opportunity. I love to have civil discourse. You know what my people was telling me? They sent me your stuff. They said, Anton, they said, you got to go at that UK Simp. I said, nah. I said, I got some other fish that I wanted to fry that was much, much bigger than you. But I went ahead, once I seen that you was out here being a gossip girl on Girls Business, I said, you know what? Hold on, let me turn it on. Once I seen you was trying to be a gossip girl on Women's Business, I said, you know what? Let me get the big homie up there and let's have some conversation. So from all intents and purposes, because I was going to go ahead and break down your whole platform and everything, right? But since you want to come up and have a conversation, I think that this will be cool. I think that this will be better. This should be better. No, I didn't hear about Jaylen Brown supporting Kyrie, Aaron. I'm going to have to do that breakdown. We'll tap into that later, big dog. Thank you. Hey, send me the video, Aaron, of Jaylen Brown supporting Kyrie. I'm going to wait for the homie. I'm going to give him a couple extra minutes. I know he just got done streaming on his Ready to Love. So I want to make sure that he's not fully ready to simp. He said you clicking on right now. Right, let me get some let me make some room for you. Give me a second. I'm gonna make some room for the homie. And we just gonna have a conversation. We gonna chill. See, this is what you're supposed to do, right? No? Hold on. I got you, boo. I gotcha. Hold on. I don't see you in the back yet. I don't see you in the back. Man, this is going to be an epic show, too. This is going to be an epic one, bro. But you stealing my thunder. Hold on. You're stealing my thunder, freaky Jason. I don't see you in the back yet, so I'm going to give you a little while. Yeah, I heard the new 21 reference. We plan on talking about that tonight on the podcast, so we'll see what happens. I don't know if I'm going to go live with Charleston tonight, but we'll see what happens. All right, so let's do this. One second. What's going on, big homie?
Hey man, what's good? You right?
Chilling, chilling. How you
What's
feel?
good, man? How I feel? I feel
Yeah.
good, you know. I feel good, you know. And I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk. So
You didn't give me the
I'm good,
same
man.
opportunity.
Well, you know what? I react to videos, so I reacted to the video. You know what I mean? That's what I do. I react to videos. You know what I mean?
So tell us what your content about. I'm not since you pulled up, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I have to have a lot of respect for you now. Because very few people actually are willing to have a conversation in civil discourse. So, you know, I can't
I
say
appreciate it.
anything negative about you because you right here. You know what I'm saying? So give us a little bit of insight of who you are and what it is that you do, the type of videos that you put together.
Yeah. So obviously, name's Little Black Book. So I do a lot of TV commentary. I break down body language. I break down communication between people on reality TV, oftentimes, and just try to give a more healthy perspective on how relationships should look. That's literally in short what I do, and often give it through a Christian perspective when I break down some of those things as well. So that's literally encapsulation of what I do as content. Yeah.
Okay. And I see you do a lot of reactions to like you have like ready to love. You got a lot of ready to love content on your channel. What's that all about?
Yeah. Oh, I've been doing that for a little while. For the last like 3 or 4 years, I've been doing content on the show. I've done interviews with the cast members as well. I just like reality TV that involves dating. I love breaking down body language, love breaking down situations between people, and just being able to just to kind of give a different perspective to the audience as well. So yeah.
You
Me.
I see you a religious guy. You're a spiritual guy. You're a Jesus guy.
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
I
Yeah,
did a little bit of
born again
research.
Christian.
I had my people pull up some research. Yeah, it was gonna be an epic show, but like I said, we just gonna have a conversation now because you pulled up. So you
You
are
can still
you
do the
are
show. I
you are
respect it.
you are a Jesus guy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Where you from? You got the UK accent.
Yeah, I'm in UK. I'm in Birmingham, UK. So, but I do a lot of content around American TV shows because in UK we don't have as much black orientated shows.
Hmm.
So that I do appreciate for an American market that we can tap into that as well. So yeah, from the UK, Birmingham.
Got you. Um, you here in the United States though, right?
No, no, no. Based in UK.
Because I
Based
see
in
you got a
UK.
tour that you got coming up.
Yeah. Oh no. We had a tour. We had a tour in September. October. Sorry. What we did, we just went in ATL, DC, and New York, and just put on a little live show, talking about vulnerability, talking about breaking down relationships. How can they be more healthier? And I think in DC we had a few of the Ready to Love people come through as well, a couple own people as well. So we like to talk about relationships. That's the main thing here. Yeah.
Cool. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
31, 31. Yeah.
You in a relationship, married? What's that look like?
No, I'm not in a relationship at the moment. Never been married. Just at the moment, just trying to build. At the moment. So I came into the YouTube space about 6 years ago, but I only did it full time for the last 2 years. So I've just been kind of just building, just trying to expand one's, I guess, platform, but also expand my horizons as well. So I'm taking these last few years as a learning curve, a steep one, because there's things I want to do, and there's impact I want to make, and like yourself, I've also just started a Discord. I'm trying to also influence people as well in the right way. So I admire the fact that you're streets ahead of me. So it's something I can tap into and at least learn from. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell, I
So when
guess.
y'all go on these tours or y'all have these conversations, because I understand the content or whatever, but when y'all
Mm.
go on these tours, are y'all teaching people how to be in healthy relationships and things like that?
I mean, you can call it teaching. I'm more of a case of just having conversation. I think we learn through conversations. You know what I mean? So for me, it's more about if we talk and we dialogue and we pass information. That's how we grow and that's how we learn. You know what I mean? I guess in some shape or form, it does put me in a teacher perspective because I'm the person holding the platform. I'm the person holding the channel. So in some regards, there is a teaching aspect to it. I believe that's the gift that God has given me as a teacher. So in some form, yes, there's some teaching aspect of it as well, in the side of that as well.
What gives you what makes you think that you can give people insight and information on relationships?
Good question. To be honest, there's no credentials behind it, guys. I'll be honest with you. I've never claimed to be a therapist or psychologist or anything like that. I just like to observe, and my mind thinks in more of a psychological aspect. Of course, you do a little bit of reading around that as well, but for me, it's more about just I observe, I listen, I talk to people, and you know what? I would say ultimately is one is a gift that you have. I think people have a gift of counseling. I believe I have
You
that
think so?
gift, spiritual gift. Yeah, I believe so. I believe so.
What's
By the
the
grace of
what
God.
at what age do you believe that somebody can be a life coach? What's the minimum age?
Oh, I'm not a life coach. I'm not a
No,
life
no, no,
coach.
not you.
Oh,
Just in your opinion, what is the minimum age in which you think somebody can be a life coach? Because like if somebody has
mm,
the gift of something, right? I'm familiar with the church. If somebody
yeah,
has
yeah,
a gift specifically, a lot of times the church ordains them as that. That's their ministry. That's their gift, or whatever, so on
yeah.
and so forth. What's the earliest age in which you believe that somebody can be a life coach, in your personal opinion?
Hey, listen. I wouldn't necessarily put an age in it, but if we were to put an age in it, hey, man, listen. You could say 20. You could say 25. You
A
could say
life coach
30.
at 20?
I mean, yeah, it depends. It depends who you're coaching, isn't it? And depends what kind of gift you have. Because
You don't think it's necessary? They
sorry.
don't even let the president become the president before a certain age. You don't think it's necessary for you to actually have lived it before you can give an opinion on it or coach somebody
I,
through it?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, no. Listen, I definitely believe that you're better served with the more experience you do have. But you know, as you go through life, you're gaining experience. And like I said, I think the key word in all of this is wisdom. And I say that from a perspective of when he asked Solomon, decipher between these two children, whose
Hmm.
kid it is. He was able to decipher not because he was the smartest man in the world, but because he had wisdom in that moment. So I think it's measured by the wisdom. You know what I
Well, we
mean?
don't
So
really know if Solomon
yeah,
was accurate on anything.
I mean, that would be debatable. It depends on what perspective you come from. I'm coming from if I come from a Christian perspective, for me, he was accurate. He got the right person in the end. So you
How do
know,
we
as the
know?
story tells,
How do we
well, as the
know?
story tells, that he had the right person. That when they
How do we?
chose,
But
it was
how
the
do
right
we know that
person.
he didn't just guess? How do we automatically equate that to wisdom?
Again, that would be depend on your perspective. From a Christian perspective, he didn't guess; it was wisdom. That's what the Bible puts it down to. That Solomon was the wisest man, and he applied wisdom in those moments. Now, it could be a guess, but his guess was full of wisdom. So, again, I wouldn't debate it because, in the sense of, it depends what perspective you're coming from. I would also understand that perspective
Hmm.
and say, but from a Christian perspective, he was a wise man, wise boy at the point in time,
But
actually, as well.
interestingly enough, even in the word, it says, in everything that you do, get understanding, right? And
Mhm.
so, um, you don't think that it's wild that a 20-year-old or a 25-year-old can be a life coach?
It depends if they have the wisdom. It depends if they have the if they
What,
have the if
what
they
wisdom? Break down this wisdom
if
for
they.
me.
I mean, I would say a God given wisdom plus your actual gift. You have the ability to counsel people. You can't put uh, a more physical understanding from it. If someone has a gift or they have a wisdom in that area, you will know by oftentimes by the results or the fruits of that particular wisdom, right? So if that person's a 20-year-old but they're wise beyond their years,
How do we
they're
know
wise
what their
beyond their
fruits
years.
are, though? They don't have any
You should
fruit.
see
They're
by the
only
people.
20.
Yeah, but you should see by the way that if by all means, as people ask you or you talk to people or you get in situations where you counsel people, you're gonna see. You know what I mean? If you
Not
really have fruits,
necessarily,
it should
because
show.
anybody,
Okay,
think about it. Think about it. If
I'll go for it.
if somebody coaches somebody to go over here and get hoes, and then they successfully go and bust down a bunch of chicks, but they happy
Hmm.
about it, it doesn't necessarily mean that they were successful as a life coach. It just means that the person that was seeking the insight and information didn't know what they didn't know. Happiness is a state of mind. That's why I tell people, don't chase happiness, chase growth.
Hmm.
Growth causes for you to be uncomfortable. Even
Hmm.
Jesus himself didn't start walking the earth and speaking to people until he was in his 30s. So what
I
makes you think
agree.
that somebody can speak to and coach somebody throughout their life when they 20 and 25 years old?
I said it depends on the wisdom and the gift that they have.
No, the
You
word
know,
is the
again,
word. The word is the word through
no,
and through, my
you're
friend.
you're using a no, no, because what you're doing now, you're using a prescription for a description. It's not the same.
Mm.
What Jesus' situation was, it was descriptive, not prescriptive, meaning that yes, we'd say that number 30 could be the number of maturity, right? If we're talking about Bible
No,
numerology, you can say that
no.
you could say, I'm just saying you
It's
could
not.
say
It's
that
not. It's
30.
not descriptive and prescriptive. There was a reason why he didn't start doing it, even though he was a son of God. It was a reason why, and it wasn't necessarily because he didn't know. It was because he was giving us the blueprint of how it is that we supposed to live our life, and then to follow him, which is to be Christ-like. So it doesn't necessarily mean that he didn't know. It means that the word, which is exactly what we read, which the Old Testament, and then translating into the New Testament and his transition into it, is the blueprint by which we follow, not necessarily the thing that he didn't or didn't know.
Okay, so what I mean by this is there is no give. Jesus starting his ministry at 30 does not mean you have to start your ministry at 30. All it's saying is that is a
When should you start
descriptive
your ministry?
piece.
When should you start your ministry?
I mean, if you were to take Old Testament, if I remember correctly, it would talked about priests would be from the age of 25 to 50. So if someone was to give a prescriptive, which I would never give prescriptive, one could say 25. That was when someone should start, could start
So how can
technically,
somebody be a
if
life
it,
coach at 20?
because I said it wasn't prescriptive. I said if you were to give a prescriptive, I'm not giving a
But then you added
prescriptive.
additional context and said that you would know them by their fruit. So what fruit could they bear at 20 in which you would be able to separate that?
I think when someone gives you advice and you see the fruit of that advice, does it go where it needs? Does it produce the fruit it's meant to produce? If you ask me a relationship question and I answer the relationship question and it helps you in a healthy way,
But how do you know that it
right? That would
helps
be a
you?
result.
If you're the recipient of the information, right?
Yeah.
If you come to me and you say Anton, or if I come to you and
Hmm.
I say, I'm sorry, what's your first name again?
Sorry, Kojo.
Kojo? Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
seen that on your Facebook page. My people did a little bit of research. You said Kojo?
Yeah.
Okay. Kojo, I need for you to give me some insight on how it is that I can find a wife, right? A
Hmm.
Proverbs 31 woman. And then
Yeah.
you give them some insight and they find them. And then that wife wind up taking them for everything that they got in family court after they have a child. Were they
Mm.
successful? Because they could have been
Okay.
successful prior to, according to your advice on how to find a wife, prior to getting divorced. But how do you know what you don't know? Especially if you're
I
the person that's
sorry.
seeking the insight.
So I think the example that you've given, you got to break it down into two parts here, right? Your question you asked me was originally, if the person comes to ask me to find a Proverbs 31 woman, I've done my job if you find that Proverbs 31 woman. Now, the key question here is, are you asking me now how to maintain that situation? That's a different question. Maintenance and attaining are two different things. Many men can help you find and attain a woman, but talking about maintenance, that's a different question you'd have to ask me. So if you then come to ask me, bro, how do I maintain this particular partnership with this person? Now we have a completely different conversation. It's like,
So let's
okay,
role
cool.
play. Let's
You know,
role
that's
play.
okay.
Kojo,
Yeah.
how do I find, or can you help me? What should I be looking for? And what should I do? What's my first step as far as finding a Proverbs 31 or a woman, a wife, a woman
Yeah.
that's worthy of marriage? What would you sell me?
Well, first and foremost, again, there's going to be slight nuances, but let me just be direct here.
Mm-hmm.
Say, first and foremost, that person should have a relationship with Christ themselves. That woman should have their own relationship with Christ. That's a fundamental issue, as a compatibility issue. So first and foremost,
You
that
think being
particular aspect.
compatible is important?
Compatibility, I take compatibility over chemistry. Not saying that chemistry isn't important, but you need compatibility if you're going to have a long-term relationship.
I thought you was gonna say equally yoked. I thought you was gonna hit me with that word, that scripture. But go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, I mean, the equal yoke would be somebody choosing somebody who's of the faith. But yeah, so that woman
Not
would have to be
necessarily. Is more context, but we'll
okay.
get to that. Go ahead.
Fair play. So okay, so lady obviously then has a relationship with Christ first and foremost, and then you want to look for certain aspects, and depending on what kind of man you are. So this is dependent upon what kind of guy you are. So let's say for
Mm.
me, I'm into YouTube, I'm into creativity, I'm into relationships. I know I need somebody actually who's going to also be an encourager. I need someone who's kind, who's compassionate. I need somebody also too who's got the ability to push me because sometimes I can procrastinate because of my creativity. I can get into procrastination spells. I need someone to be like, "Hey, coach, let's go. You know you got this, but let's go." You know what I mean? So I need someone who can push me in that aspect.
So you need a boss
And
bitch.
no, you don't need not necessarily a boss, but somebody who can encourage and knows how to encourage in the right form. I wouldn't say boss. But I'll definitely
Because
say
I will
someone who can
tell you, at
encourage.
31, you're gonna be a completely different man than you are at 41. So how is it that you find a wife that's gonna be with you for 50 years versus understanding the current state in which you at? It's a completely different conversation. See the different. Do you know who I
Yeah.
am?
Oh yeah, I've seen you. I've seen you on the People Network. I've seen you on your own channel. I've seen you do your own thing. Yeah.
So you familiar with my background a little bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know how long I've been married, right?
I don't know how many years, but I know you've been married a few years as well. I know you. I know you. You've spoken about it
18.
on the People Network. 18. Okay.
18 years successfully married. It's a difference between being married and successfully married. So if
Agreed.
somebody was, so do you feel comfortable enough to
Yeah.
coach somebody like me that would come to you for life advice, coaching? You feel comfortable enough to coach somebody like me?
Absolutely.
Do you?
Yep.
I'm
Because I'm not
glad
giving you
that you
life
said
advice.
that. I'm glad
Because
that
I'm
you
not giving
said
you life
that.
advice.
I'm sorry.
I couldn't give you life. I couldn't give you life advice. Life advice. If you're talking about my specialty, is trying to help people wrestle through problems in relationships. So if you're coming to me with an issue, let's say for you and your wife, and by God's grace, I hope that never ever happens. But if there's an issue, whatever, and you said, "Hey, coach, I've got an issue," that's where my specialty comes into, where I try to help the person wrestle through it. You know what I mean?
Cool.
That's what my
Well,
specialty is.
hold
Not
on.
yeah.
Because you've
Okay.
already identified some problems with me and in my relationship.
Okay.
No? Don't.
Mm,
I know you're taking a sip.
I don't. I know I like drinking water. I drink a lot of water. Sorry. Have I identified issues between you and your wife already? I
No,
mean,
you've
I've spoken
identified
about.
issues with me that can translate into how it is that I interact with
Oh
my
yes,
wife.
yes, yes. I did say. I think my last video
Fill me
was
in. Fill me in.
on that
What are
issue.
my issues?
No,
Assess
I
me.
think the based upon what we saw, obviously, I've seen you. Obviously, the last video, especially that I just did, you talked about obviously kicking a woman in their titty, and I said
No,
if
no,
he
no,
was
no.
being deadly
Let me break
serious,
it down. I talked
okay.
about putting a Timberland boot on her breast and stepping on that bitch. I just wanted to add the additional context. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What was the need to add the additional context?
Because it's not just kicking her, it's stomping on her.
I'm what that's I'm confused by that. What's
Why are
the
you confused? Because if she decides that she wants to approach me and get at me like a man, then I'm going to treat her accordingly. Right. And so that's the beauty in this whole equal thing. I don't know how they do it over there in the UK, but over here, women think they equal to men. And so if a woman
okay?
bosses up on me and she decides to ball up her fist, I'm going to knock her ass out just like a man. You
Okay.
don't agree with that, do you? Are you a feminist?
Um, well, someone might describe me as a feminist.
Well, are
I've just
you?
tried to
Do
hold.
you describe yourself as a feminist? Feminist.
No, I wouldn't necessarily describe myself as a feminist. No, I wouldn't describe myself as a feminist, but I do hold some of the. I guess someone could say I could hold some of the ideals. I like to just try and make sure, not necessarily things are fair because we're never going to be fair. We're never going to be equal. People have heard me say this. We're not equal as men and women. As human beings, we are, but we're not equal in
No,
terms
we
of our
not.
roles that we
No, we
play.
not. Even God said that
Oh,
she's a helpmeet. That's it.
do you
She's
know
a
who else is a help
helpmeet.
me? The Holy Spirit's also a help me. So is the Holy Spirit not equal to you?
No, it's
He's
not.
not. It's not, right? But
It's
he's a help
not.
me. So it's not. So the help me is not a description of her being lower than you. It's a
It is
description
there.
of
It
what
is
role she plays.
absolutely. It said,
It's not
I am to
because the
have
Holy Spirit has the
dominion
same role.
over everything, the beasts of the field, every single
Mhm,
insect, and over the woman. It's man over woman, God over
mhm.
man, woman over child. I don't know. Do you not understand that hierarchy, or do you think that this is a partnership?
No, I didn't say that at all. I said, but I think we have to make it
No, I'm
very, very
asking.
clear here.
I'm not. I'm not. I didn't
No,
say you said that. I'm
okay.
asking you if that's what you think. You think that this is a partnership, or do you think that everything is supposed to have a hierarchy?
Okay. Let me go by partnership. What do you mean by partnership? So we get the
Well,
same.
to
So
say a
we're on the same
partnership would
level.
mean that we
Yeah.
equal.
In
That
terms
would
of
mean that
roles.
she's able to make her own. She's able to have
Okay.
equal decisions in a household. You think that? Do you think that it was a partnership, or do you think that there's a hierarchy?
I do believe there's a hierarchy. Yeah, I do believe there's a hierarchy. But but I was taking note with the fact that the description you used, which was at the very beginning, you spoke about man should have dominion over. It never says man should have dominion over the woman.
No,
What
I
it does
said that.
say,
I
yeah,
said that.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I want to make
I
it
am
to
the
stay
head
clear
of
because
her. I'm the head of my
Yeah,
household, and I'm the head over her. That is having dominion over her.
that's not
All
dominion.
decisions flow up. It flow up. I may allow her to have some decision making ability. I may allow her the freedom to do what it is she want to do. I may even take
Hmm.
into consideration the suggestions that she make. But ultimately, what it comes down to is that if we lose our house, nobody's gonna go to her and say, "Hey, how did you lose your house?" They're gonna say, "Anton, what the fuck has you been doing?"
I agree that part. I agree that last
So
part
how
where you're talking
how was
about
that
who's
how was that any
accountability.
different than what it is that we're describing as far as dominion? Dominion doesn't count. That don't mean that. We allow our dogs to go walk around and run in the yard and shit, and then we tell them to come in when it's necessary.
Hmm.
It's not the same thing. I hate to equate a woman to a dog, but I'm using a narrative in
I
order
understand what you're
to
saying.
paint a picture. You don't think that that's the same thing?
No, they're not the same because the Bible never describes it as such.
Okay, so
I
you
remember.
tell me.
I remember.
You
I'm
you
coming from
tell
that
me.
perspective. So
Okay, I'm sorry. I want to come back to the original
yeah.
conversation. Break
Sorry.
down to
Okay.
me what my issues are, and then how
I think
I can be a better Christian and a better husband
notice
to
I
my
never quoted about your
wife.
Christianity. I never said about your Christianity. I
No,
only
I'm
spoke
saying,
about
but being
your
the best
person.
version of myself, being a great man, would ultimately
Mm.
mean that I'm being a great Christian, right?
It's not synonymous, but it can be attached, but it's not
Okay,
synonymous.
so I'm assuming that the advice that you give me would help me to be a better version of myself. So break me
Hmm.
down, assess me.
No, I mean to be honest, it was the last video that we watched. Obviously, talking about obviously kicking a woman in her titty.
Timberland
As you
all
said
day.
yourself, Timberland's also okay. Um, for me personally, if I look at that situation, I'll be asking key questions as to first and foremost, where did you get the idea that this particular action would be a healthy one?
The minute that women advocated for equal and then they felt like it was necessary for them to even be able to put their hands on a man in the first place.
Okay, so when you talk about this particular ideology, is it something that existed in your childhood?
Is what existed in my childhood. Be
This
specific.
ideology, have you always had this ideology from a kid?
Absolutely. I will stomp a
Okay.
bitch out.
Who taught you that?
Bitch being much different than a woman. I think that there's a difference between being a bitch and a woman. But if she turns into a bitch, I will stomp the fuck out of her.
What's the difference between a woman and a bee, as you say?
Well, it depends on how it is that she's approaching me, how it is that she deals with people, and how she deals with society. If she feels like she's man enough to put her ball her fist up and throw them at me, then she should be man enough to take a punch in a Timberland boot on her chest. That's a bitch.
Okay. So you always had this ideology since a child. Who taught you that ideology?
I taught myself
Okay. Where did you garner that view from?
from observing the behavior of women as much different from the women of yesteryear. See, the women of my mother's generation in my household, they didn't get out of line with men. But then as I
Hmm.
stepped outside and I started to see the difference between the women that I was used to observing and the women that you guys are out here courting, it's a much
Hmm.
different philosophy. And so I realized that if somebody feels that they're equal to you, then you have to treat
Hmm.
them accordingly, and then that humbles them. That helps them to understand that there is a hierarchy and you need to sit your ass down.
Hmm.
So I
Okay.
I gain I used my own insight and information based off of lived experiences, observation, as you would say, and I
Hmm.
compared it and contrasted with what it was that I was used to seeing in my own household, which was much different. And then I came to my own conclusion.
Hmm.
See, this
Well,
whole
is there more?
feminist movement and equal movement, this is a
Hmm.
recent thing. This isn't something that is existed during the time that my grandmother was born and things like that. This is new. This is a different thing. And I believe in my observation that the men are the ones that empowered the women to feel this comfortable saying it, such as some of the things that you said about me on your platform. You made those women over there feel
Hmm.
real comfortable saying a
Hmm.
lot of egregious things, and then you empowered them. It's men like you, Kojak, or is it Kojo?
Hmm.
I'm sorry, Kojo.
Let's go. Hmm.
Kojo.
Go.
It's
Yeah. Yeah.
men like you that empower them to feel this comfortable getting out of line with men like me, in which we then have to retroactively fix the women that you think that you coaching into submission. You actually
Okay.
coaching them to go into a burning house, and you coaching them out of their femininity. You coaching them into a space to where they feel comfortable enough to put them on the same level as men. You don't
Hmm.
think so?
I don't think I did that.
Oh, okay. But oh, well, go.
I
Well,
don't think I did that.
I don't want to divert away from what we was talking about.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Go
good.
ahead, break me down. You haven't fully broke me down yet. So go ahead. Any other
No,
questions that you have for me?
No. I mean, obviously, I wanted to find out where that particular thought process came from. So you're saying it came from observations and what you've seen and what you've
Lived
experienced.
experiences compared with what it was that I was used to seeing.
Okay, so in that particular aspect, would you consider this to be an effective method in terms of actually producing healthy relationships between men and women when you decide that in a moment, if she has punched you in the face, that it'll be acceptable to now use a Timberland boot?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now,
100%.
I want to add this caveat, which is on that video that I talked about, I did say, unless I might not have seen the live, so this part of the portion of the conversation, listening to
Well,
what
you
old
added
girl
that
was
at the
saying.
end when everybody clicked off. Usually, if
Yeah,
you look at the YouTube algorithm, what happens is people watch the first 2 minutes up to 5 minutes, but you had a 13-minute video. And so
yeah, and
at
that,
the very end,
sorry,
right before you ended the stream,
yeah,
you added your little, your
yeah,
dissertation, and you added your little,
mm.
caption. Listen, I'm not responsible for those who watch this video. Views and opinions are not mine. You added at the end. See, I'm aware. I'm aware.
I
I
didn't add
paid
that part,
attention.
but I know what you're talking about. But I mean, okay, so in that particular
Matter
video,
of fact, you know what?
it,
Hold on. Before you
yeah,
finish breaking me down, let's do
okay,
this.
so okay.
Horrible.
She's not liking the energy that you all putting on.
It's that sister code attitude. Her lips look phenomenal.
No, my attitude, because your spirit is weak, my attitude is bad.
Now, one thing that I did not hear you say during this whole video breakdown is you never held any of the women accountable for the things that they were saying, which I know that you had watched up to this point, because in order for you to even be able to grasp this clip, you had to be aware of what was going on to a certain extent. So let me ask you a question before we get back to me. Please. Why are you not holding any of the women accountable that say some of the most egregious shit to me on some of these platforms? As a matter of fact, you harbor the #1 terrorist. Maybe it's because you like Ready to Love, but says some of the most. I would invite you to go and review the video in which me and Kayla fell out and review that. And I'm curious, would you hold her just as accountable as you were advising the women not to talk to a man such as myself that has a daughter, successfully married for the last 18 years, pour into my community, hire most of the people that look like you and the gender that you actually champion the most? I'm wondering, because you didn't hold any of these hyenas on the panel accountable, would you hold them just as accountable as you held me?
I believe so. I would have. I mean,
have you ever done a video in which you've held women accountable, such as the way you done me? Because you were saying, listen, you said ladies, stay away from men like this.
Yeah, and it's of course and I've done videos where I've said, man, them stay away from these women too. So I've done videos on both. We just had a live on Sunday. It was men's panel, and it was between men and women, and it got very, very tasty.
Not a panel. I'm talking
about it was only men.
You as an individual that is reviewing a video. I am wondering if you are breaking it down and saying stay away from these hyenas.
I don't say hyenas, but I have done videos where I have said, listen, stay away from this type of woman. I have done those kind of videos as well. So I have done both. I've done both. You know what I mean? And I think just in relation to what you discussed in this particular video, if I'm remembering correctly, and I can stand corrected, and I'll happily offer apologies. In this particular video, it was a conversation about cheating, right? Or sorry, I should say even if you're not getting sex in a relationship or whatever, or libido drops or whatever. And I think the lady was talking about how
what about what the women said on this panel?
That's not, what do you mean on this
video? What about what they were saying
in terms of the conversation?
Yeah.
Well, I focus on
that woman called Chaotic a California raisin.
Okay.
And then proceeded to absolutely positively disrespecting.
Okay.
Every last one of the women on that panel was in solidarity and making sure that they held these men accountable. And I didn't see you say one word. You want to hear what I heard you say? Let me tell you.
Okay, so what is a weak spirit? What is a weak spirit? Because y'all used to used to saying what you want to say, and then a dude saying, "Oh, you know what? We don't fight with women." Well, I'm dead.
You hear what I said? You used to do women doing and saying what they want to say, what they want to say it, and doing what they do when they want to do it. And then they used to men saying, oh, but you know what? Respect them, love them, regardless of how it is that they do and treat you and say and talk to you, so on and so forth. You don't hold these women accountable, Kojo.
I do hold the women accountable, but I had a focus on the video. The conversation
was focused on me.
It was, because when I clicked on it, that's the part I clicked on. So that's where the video took me to. So, because obviously that beginning of the video.
No correlation with Kayla, right? Just want to make sure.
Wait, what?
You don't have any kind of affiliation, or you're not incentivized to have these conversations based off of
they're trying to cancel me.
Hold on, wait. You're not incentivized to have this conversation based off of any kind of affiliation with Kayla, right?
No, you not see that. You not see I just did it.
Well, hold on. We're gonna continue the conversation. I'm gonna let you have the context. What is that? What we got going on over here?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Videos.
Hold on. Wait. Let me go to videos. This is your page, right?
Yeah.
All right. I just want to make sure that. What is this? Hold on. Wait. Let me just see something.
Go for it.
Hold on. What the hell is that? What is going on here?
What is what? I'm so confused.
What is that?
Kayla regrets kiss.
You doing a lot. You got a lot of clips and a lot of videos.
Yeah, I do this full time, so I'm a commentator. So I break down my own videos and put them into smaller bits so people can watch them in smaller bits so they can digest it.
You don't think? Let me scroll up a little bit. Oh, Jesus. You don't think that this is a little biased? You don't think that this look a little suspect? I'm just curious, just from my perspective.
No, how can it be suspect? Go for widen the shot again and see how many people are on that page.
How many people are on what page?
If you widen it. If you widen the shot so we can see how many videos I've done and look what I do.
But my question was any kind of affiliation or content that you've collaborated on.
We haven't. She's been interviewed because she's on the show, Ready to Love. As you see, I'm on OWN TV as well.
Were you familiar with her being on the Lapeef Network?
Absolutely.
Oh, so you do know. So were you familiar with her and I having a little bit of a tiff?
I do. Yes, I do have that. I do have that recollection. Yep.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. All right.
We never discussed that on her interview.
I just wanted to have some insight and information on what it is that I'm getting into.
That's fine.
I like to do a little bit of research to find out what it is I'm getting into. Okay, so let's go back. Hold on.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let me go back.
Because
so I'm gonna let you add the context before we get back into this video. All right, I'm gonna let you continue to break me down. We're gonna jump around a little bit because I'm discombobulated. I'm a C student. I'm not that smart. I try to get more insight and information, and I'm all over the place. I'm kind of like autistic, but I wasn't officially diagnosed. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, break me down.
No, I mean that was literally the point. It was the video, wasn't it? So that was pretty much it. Have I said anything else?
No, you did a 13-minute video. We'll come back to it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I did a 13-minute video. It was more about what she actually said than anything.
And you was giving the ladies advice on what it is on not the. I am not the guy.
Yeah, because if you advise someone
that a woman would want to, my personality type, what it is that I represent is not reflective of what these women should be advocating on, who it is that they should marry.
Okay, so you gave us an extra context, which I don't believe was actually in that particular 13-minute video. I might have missed it, but I don't remember being in that video.
It's your video. What do you mean you missed it? Don't worry about it.
No. In the original.
Let's find out.
I came across this video and I was like, okay, let me do one for the ladies. Look, if you listen to what people say, okay, they tell you how they are.
We can always just replay the tape. I could be wrong. I might have heard it wrong.
That's why I'm saying hold people accountable. Because if you miss this red flag, I don't want to hear anybody crying.
So I'm a red flag, but go ahead. I'm a red flag, right?
The comment was a red flag, absolutely. So you would be a red flag in terms of what you said, yes.
I
Because
like
the context you gave me is slightly different.
I like the fact that you stand on your word.
That's what you said.
Hold on one second.
Yeah. If you miss this red flag and you date someone like this, I do not want to hear you crying about, give me a story. I don't want to.
If you date somebody like this, I don't want to hear you crying about me giving a story. Is that not the very thing that I just said that you were saying to the women?
How do you mean?
You were advising women not to fuck with dudes like me, right?
Yeah, if I did say that, yes, I did.
What do you mean if you did say that? We just played it.
No, I said yes, I did. I said yes, I did.
No, you said if I did say that.
Okay, well, I stand corrected. Yes, I did.
Okay, now why?
Why did I say that? Because the context of the
you
video.
don't think it's necessary for us to hold women accountable for their actions, especially when they consider themselves equal and they put their hands on a man? You don't think that it's necessary?
That wasn't the context of the video. That wasn't what the context of. I remember. That's why I said to you, I don't remember the context of that video being about what you just mentioned. You've added a context that I don't remember being in that particular 13-minute video. The conversation started off with being about people stepping out on a relationship. That's I said. If I'm wrong, I don't mind apologizing. But when it got to that part of the conversation, old girl, is it Javan TV?
Mm-hmm.
She said about weak spirit or whatever. That's what led to the comment between you and her, and then all of a sudden, now you're dropping the whole. You know what? I'll kick.
It's not the first time. It's actually not the first video that I told a chick that I would kick her in her titty. But hold on, let's play a little bit more. Let's play a little bit more.
Hear it, cool. Because I'm gonna play the clip again. I want you to listen with your own two ears to what he just said.
You passionate,
and I don't want to hear you say he scammed you, he lied to you, he was much more nicer in person. I realize he's told you what kind of man he is.
Wait a minute, Kojo. Can I give you a little bit of a coaching tip?
Go for it.
Don't ever do like this when you talking, bro. I know it might be cool in the UK. You may not be familiar with some of these hyenas over here in the United States of America. But women that is for the streets and they feel like they telling you off and they one slap away from rearranging your glasses on your face, talk like this. They do like this when they talk. You never want to do that, big dog. Just for future reference, a tip from me to you, big dog, okay?
Okay.
All right.
This is the accountability piece we're talking about. So if you're new to the channel, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you. We'll be here for about 10 minutes. It's a 10-minute live, real quick, no long thing. Listen to this, okay? Listen to this last bit, okay? Listen to this again.
Putting on.
It's that sister code attitude. Her lips look phenomenal.
My attitude, because your spirit is weak, my attitude is bad.
Ooh, these chicks is talking greasy. And you know what the funny part is? All the way up until this part, they was talking mad greasy though. But let's continue.
Okay, so what is a weak spirit? What is a weak spirit? Because y'all used to you used to saying what you want to say, and then a dude saying, "Oh, you know what? We don't fight with women." Well, I'm different because I will kick a chick in her titty. I will do it.
And he said that, Javon. So they're not used to women.
Even Siobhan.
I want to hear your breakdown
a bit. Siobhan, who's normally in the corner here, second to bottom right, even she was shocked. That should let you know, that even because normally Siobhan is quite a person who's quite, chill. She takes in both perspectives, but even she was shocked, and that's when I knew that it was shocking to hear. Right, to hear a man say to you or to anybody else that he's happy that other people might not fight you, but I will kick you in the titty. It's like, what? What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
You don't understand what I was talking about?
Oh, no. It's a saying. When you say, I don't know, what are you talking about? It's more of a case of like, do you hear yourself, what you're saying? You know what I mean? So I do understand what you're saying, and I don't agree with it. And again, the context of what you gave me a minute ago about, there being, if she wants to fight you, I didn't hear that. And I still didn't hear that in this particular video. So as I said, unless I've missed it, then the context of this conversation was about the fact that it was about stepping out. And then the conversation escalated to now weak spirit. And then suddenly I don't mind kicking a woman in her titties.
No, I said that y'all the type of chicks that's used to dealing with a dude. And I said that. I said, y'all the type of chicks that's used to dealing with certain type of dudes that was saying, oh, you know what I'm saying? Let her say what she want to say or whatever, do what she want to do or whatever. If it escalates to that point, I will kick a chick in the titty. But let's continue. I want to hear the rest of the context.
Saying like, what are you talking about? These are the type of men. Listen, give a man long enough to.
And I'm not even going to add this as a part of the conversation because I want to keep it here. But I'm sure you are familiar with trolling. Neither here nor there. Trolling is it?
So were you trolling? But were you trolling?
No, no. In real life, I was trolling, but I will. No, listen. I was trolling, but I will kick a chick in the titty. That's the context. But let's continue.
Talk, he'll hang himself. Give a man long enough to talk, he'll hang himself. because the rhetoric will come out. The truth of that person's feeling and sentiment will come out. This is somebody who's married, by the way. Now, I'm not saying he's ever given me any vibe that he's doing anything to his wife, but the fact is, after this conversation, also remember he was part of the People Network originally when Kevin Samuels also gave that DV conversation, and I didn't like it either. Right?
Wait a minute, I didn't watch this part of the video. I must have skipped it. What are your thoughts on Kevin Samuels?
I think he had some rhetoric that was appalling, and there were some parts of it which were absolutely true.
What parts was appalling?
Like I said about the DV.
I don't know.
When you're advocating
I don't know what DV is.
Discipline.
Honestly, I genuinely don't know.
I didn't want to say it on a domestic V. I don't want to say it.
Oh, okay. What about it? What did he say that you disagree with?
When he was talking about, obviously, disciplining, quote unquote, advocating for disciplining your wife as an aspect, I was not involved.
Did you hear the context of that conversation?
I did, and it doesn't make it any better.
And he didn't say domestic violence. He said domestic. He said domestic discipline.
Discipline, which is still DV.
And it's not DV. And that clearly shows exactly what it is that you're listening to, because domestic discipline, I'm not going to get into it. That's a completely different conversation. But go ahead. Is that it? Is that the only thing you disagree with?
I think I also about this as well. The tone of the way he spoke to women was unappealing. If you're really trying to, I think it was unappealing. Tone is very important to a message. You've taken a particular tone. Is it unappealing to an audience? You know what I mean?
How? If he had over 1 million subscribers that tuned in, they see him that wanted, and he had women on a nightly basis calling him for advice on how it is that they can do things differently so that they can get the man that they want. How is it unappealing?
Listen, there are cults that have churches that have millions of people that go to those churches. Doesn't mean those churches are good churches.
So how do we know that your church is a good church?
How do we know? Are you talking about actual church or talking about a platform?
Whatever. How do we know that the advice that you give, the church that you go to, the leadership that you submit to, how do we know that they're good? How do you know that they're good?
I think when you look at the results in terms of being healthy and how people react, you can tell.
What do you mean by the results of being healthy?
If you go into any of the Kevin Samuels videos and you look at some of the comments that are made by us as men, you will see that some of those comments by men are egregious. Some of those comments by men are, I would say, on the verge of violence. And I would say at a point in time, some of the comments there are bitter and sour puss. And we're excited when we tear someone down.
The men's comments are bitter and sour puss. Did you see the women's comments in your video that you did of me?
I did see the women's comments. I did see them.
And that's your audience. Let's go to them. Let's see what the comments are.
Go for it.
I'm curious. Let's see what the comments are of the women that are in your audience. These are the women that patronize, support you, subscribe to your channel, so on and so forth. Let's see what their comments are. He's a very suspect guy. Oh, hold on. Let's back this up. He's been married for years, but talks as though he's an expert at dating. That's how Anton is. I wouldn't be surprised if he's cheating on his wife right now. You see this shit? I am the prototype of what being successfully married looked like. Don't worry about it. I would be embarrassed to be married to such an angry brute. And Anton out here moving mad in these streets. I don't see how people listen to him. I feel for his wife. Why aren't you deleting these fucking egregious comments? Why aren't you deleting these egregious comments, but you holding these other guys' comments? You're holding them and saying that they're egregious. You don't think that any of this is egregious? You think that it's okay for them to be able to speak on my wife?
They didn't speak on your wife. They said that they feel for your wife.
Oh, okay, cool. Let's see. Anton has an interest in ego. He tries to appeal to the male followers in the manosphere. I've never even said that I'm in the manosphere. Well, that's grotesque. He also said she was speaking in parables. What she said was pretty clear cut. All the women should have left the panel. Being married doesn't mean happily married. Let's see. What else we got here? Not the biggest fan of Anton. Cool. Definitely stop listening to him. His ego. I avoid unhappily coupled people. Let's see. Wow. Glad they aren't too many of them out there. If you have one like him, run. How did he get his wife? She must be suffering daily with a husband like him. Poor Ting. That's how men are in real life. His wife is in trouble. Prepare for the worst. Bitch energy on 10. An abusive, misogynistic cheater. Where's all of this stuff being substantiated at? I've never cheated on my wife in my life. You don't think that these comments are egregious? And it gets worse.
I mean, technically, the only one that was
the top comments. These are the top comments. Your comments get worse. Your live comments was egregious as far as a man that is raising. Bro, every last one of my brothers are married, successfully married, contributing members of society. All of my uncles. My grandmother had 9 children on her side. My grandmother on the other side, both married until they died. My father was married to my mother until he passed away. What makes them think that they can substantiate such evil comments to a man that is holding down his family and is contributing to society and pouring into the people that he actually love and highlight as his family the most? What makes you think that you shouldn't hold them accountable as far as being egregious, but you can hold somebody else's comments egregious? You got to clean up your own house first before you start holding somebody else accountable.
Hold on. First and foremost, the only really egregious one is the one you just showed me, which is Miss Lady.
Okay, let's go. I'm not surprised considering the current black femicide rate. That's not egregious too?
Do you know why it's not egregious? Because the rhetoric that you spoke about is in alignment with that particular femicide. If you know, you know.
I can't believe that you won't even hold your own members in your own chat
you said
accountable, but yet they can say whatever it is that they want to say about me. Oh, I'm closeted. Now I'm gay now. You don't think that that's egregious too?
You know what? Again.
Because that's the second gay comment that I seen on your panel.
That one is egregious. I would say that's egregious.
That's the second one. That's the second one.
I would agree with you.
So when you gonna remove them?
When you gonna remove the ones that are about me?
No. That's what women do. That's what women do. When I talk to my wife,
the same thing.
when I talk to my wife,
and I'm not your wife.
So you're not even listening to the full context. When I'm talking to my wife and she's telling me about the different children that she's dealing with on a regular basis, what they do is you tell them and you say, hey, I want you to clean up the kitchen. And they say, well, they didn't clean up the kitchen by this time at the same time that he did. No, we talking to you.
Don't ask me to do something if you're not willing to do it yourself.
No, you said that the comments were egregious. This was your comment. You emphasized how egregious your own comments were, but you are holding accountable men from another comment section. But then you're sitting here trying to tell me that I
said 2. I said 2 of the comments that you showed me are egregious.
And your live comments was fucked up. Your live comments was even worse.
Okay.
When are you going to clean up your comments before you start holding other people? When are you going to clean up these holes that's on your channel saying some of the most egregious shit about a man that's actually good for the community? Ain't never went to jail in my life. Ain't never did nothing to nobody. Don't owe nobody nothing. Actually, I would say that I probably have more testimonials than anybody that you rock with on Reddit.
You probably do. You probably do.
When you going to start holding these hyenas accountable?
That makes no difference to what you said on the actual panel, which when you give a context...
You're not answering the question, though.
No, I'm going to answer the question. I'm going to get the answer question. But if you every time you cut me off when I'm talking, you're not going to get the answer.
I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. See that? See how I'm able to take accountability? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's fine. So, yes, I can also clean up my comments and I can clear those particular ones that I don't feel are accurate in regards to the particular video. Not a problem. I'll get on it.
Cool. I'm with that. All right. So go ahead. I'm sorry. We didn't finish diagnosing. So you have any other questions before you fully give me some insight and some information on how it is that I can be better?
No. I don't believe
I'm open to becoming better.
No, I don't believe this is the space to do that kind of conversation.
But I'm asking you to give me some insight on how you want me to book a coaching call?
You can do if you want.
Book a coaching call?
No problem at all. Yeah,
you gonna take me as a client?
Hey, if you want to come through, let's go. We're gonna dive deep though, because
you do coaching.
I do coaching, pass. We're gonna talk about your childhood first.
Is it on relationships or is it just me being a better man?
It's on relationships, but it's also as well. Some people have different issues, and we try to dissect going from childhood up to adulthood. You know what I mean? So I believe the root cause of most people's adult issues are from their childhood. That's my belief.
Okay, so you want to ask me some more questions about my childhood so you can assess where I went wrong?
I don't necessarily think it's about assessing where you went wrong, but if you want to say that, you can say that. I'm assessing the fact that you made a comment on a particular video, which you give me a different context to what I saw in the actual video. Again, I stand corrected if it's different. If it does play on that part of the video, which was by all means not the same context you give me, which is if a woman hits you. That's not what I heard on the video. The video wasn't about if a woman hits you. But I may be wrong. Was I wrong in that particular context?
No,
Because
I'm trolling
that portion.
specifically.
Okay, so you said
But I
obviously
will
you do
kick a
believe
chick in the
that.
titty. That's a warning. That's to say, yo, don't get too out of line. Don't feel like you can cross the line like they can feel like they can cross the line maybe with another guy that maybe you coach, maybe that aligns with you, maybe that thinks more closely to the way that you think, because I'm not the one. And if people don't have a level of fear in their heart, if they don't understand, even men, and this is one of the things that Kevin Samuel said that you may agree with. Men understand that when you cross a certain line, that there's a level that you may have to go to that can end up in combat, violence, a level of disrespect that crosses the line, whether it's you putting your hands on another man or whatever, may lead to fear, may lead to violence. It may lead to some furniture moving. Women don't have that fear, and as a result, they feel like they can do anything and say anything to you because they don't even have that fear in them. They feel comfortable disrespecting you and not walking around operating in their femininity because you've given them permission to be men in your own household. You don't agree with that?
There's parts of what you agree with. I believe that if you're operating in your masculine, the woman can rest in her feminine. I definitely agree with that in terms of protection, provision, and priesthood. I agree with that 100%.
You ever seen my chick get out of line?
I've never seen your chick, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. I got you.
You know what I mean? I've never seen a chick. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say yes or no to that.
Okay, so let's continue. So you warned the chicks not to rock out with me because I got red flags. My red flags is that
if you make a comment like that, if you're troll, I wouldn't troll about kicking somebody in the breast. But then in the same breath, you've also told us that you're not trolling because actually that's what you believe. So
yeah, if a chick rolls up and put her hands on me, I will Super Saiyan try to kick her into the next room.
Okay. I mean, I don't agree.
You think that's wrong?
I mean, it depends on the context of what's happening. If you're getting mashed up, maybe you might have to.
So I gotta wait till I'm getting beat up by a woman before I defend myself.
I think there's ways. I think there's ways to handle situations, but don't get twisted. When I was younger, like I said, when I was younger, I thought the same way.
How should we handle it as men? Coach us.
I just think to myself, obviously, there's a way to remove yourself from the situation. I'm not saying that I haven't had those situations when I was younger. But as I've got older, I just realized that I just need to remove myself from that situation. I don't need to be having physical altercations with women.
Bro, you think that you just removing yourself from a situation that's escalated to where she putting her hands on you? You think you just removing yourself from the situation?
I'll be honest with you. I can't remember the last time I had a woman put her hands on me apart from when I was 18. And that
I don't think ain't no woman gonna put her hands on me either. And you know why? Because she understands that it may go to that other level.
Like I said, you might have to do that, but for me, I don't have to do that. I've never had a woman have to. Like I said, since 18, that was a stupid situation I was in, which I'll take accountability as well. I put myself in that situation. I've not had to deal with a woman like that. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying women might not get out of pocket or might not get angry, but I'm saying to myself, I don't need to be in a situation on a regular.
You have never seen these videos on a regular basis where women feel comfortable putting their hands on a man.
I have seen some videos like that.
Did you see the video in the airport where that woman felt comfortable continuing to put her hands on that man until he mollywopped her, and then everybody wanted to come to her aid?
I saw that video. Is that the norm?
You're missing the point. Was it wrong for him to mollywop that hoe because she kept putting her hands on him?
I said I think he would have been well pressed to. Well positioned to warn her, say, "Hey, next time we do this."
Politically correct. Was it right or wrong for that man to knock that hoe out because she kept on assaulting him?
No, I feel like we're going for a hot take, so I think we need to nuance this particular conversation so we know exactly what we're saying.
I'm saying it's just a yes or no. I'm not asking for you to. You can get
yes or no because it's a hot take.
Usually, what happens is when you ask somebody a question, they answer the question yes or no or whatever, and then they give the context. I'm asking you specifically. Was he wrong for dealing with her accordingly after she put her hands on him multiple times?
No, not in that situation. Not in that particular video. If we're talking about context,
so how am I a red flag if a chick would do something? Because you still think
it's not. Give that context.
Wait, I'm not even talking about that. You have additional context now after we had the conversation. Am I still a red flag?
But that wasn't
No,
yeah,
you
because
have
the
additional
context
context.
and that video.
I'm not talking about the video. I'm talking about now. Me and you having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Am I still a red flag?
If you're saying that you're trolling with that kind of stuff, I would still call it a red flag. Why would you need to troll with that kind of stuff?
So I'm a red flag because I'm a troll now. You not answering whether or not I'm a red. No, I'm talking about in real life. Am I a red flag?
It's still a red flag.
Am I
the
a
type
red
of trolling
flag if a woman comes at me and tries to assault me and I defend myself accordingly? Am I a red flag?
No, if that is the context, no, I wouldn't call you a red flag. But that wasn't.
But I am a red flag for trolling.
You're trolling. If you wanted to troll, but I would kick a girl in the titty, I would say you are a red flag for that.
No, I will kick a girl in the titty if she decides that she wants to boss up on me and approach me and get at me like a man.
Then, like I said, if that's the context that you're giving me right now, and you say that woman's rolled up on you and you defend yourself, right, within reason, then I wouldn't call you a red flag. You're out here defending yourself because someone's attacking you in that moment. That's a different situation. I didn't have that context originally. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean.
You know, I just don't. If a woman was making jokes, trolling like you were.
I honestly believe that you believe this. I think that you're answering the question appropriately because you don't want to sound like a hypocrite, according to the example I just gave you from the airport. But I believe that you truly still believe that I'm a red flag, and that's okay. I just want you to admit it.
But I already said that I believe you're a red flag. You asked me, and I said yes, I do. For the trolling that you were doing, I don't believe that somebody who, like you said you're upstanding citizen as a man, etc., trolls and makes jokes about kicking women in the titties. I don't think we do that. If we're sensible men and we believe that we're upstanding men, we don't make jokes about kicking women in the titties. It's not a joke. If a woman was to make a joke about slapping Anton in the face, I can guarantee you probably more than likely you.
You mean like some of these hyenas that be on the panel?
And the mere fact you call them hyenas tells me exactly how you'd feel about if someone made a joke like that. They're trolling you like that. You take it some way.
No, I'm okay. They joke on me all the time. What do you mean? Listen, nobody has had more videos.
Joking you that they're gonna hit you?
Nobody has had more videos made of me. Nobody has had more insults thrown at them on the Lapeef network than Anton from AntonDaniels.com. That is a fact.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fact.
Okay.
Nobody on that panel, and you know what I do? I take it in stride.
Mm-hmm.
I take it in stride. I'm cool. I'm chill. But you know what happens? You know, we had this young lady on the panel, and her name was Kay. And she threw a joke at me, and then I threw a joke back at her. And you know what they said? Oh, Anton, that's too mean. No, you shouldn't have called her a linebacker. Oh, so she could talk about me, but I can't talk back about her. And this is the environment in which we exist in, and this is my problem. My problem is that you don't truly understand what it is that you're dealing with yet. Maybe because you're not married. Maybe because, and God forbid, and I pray that you never find yourself in a negative situation in which you did not set the expectations early enough to where she never felt comfortable disrespecting you in an argument or when she get heated in the first place. But my point is that it's a different breed of woman out here now. And these women feeling empowered. They feel like they have the same rights as men. They feel like they're as strong as men. But then when they get knocked out on their face, when they start to put their hands on men, they want to cry wolf. It's equal rights, but not equal results. And so my point is that we cannot continue to let the prisoners control the asylum. You cannot. And just because you want to seem like a gentleman, and I think that you're a nice guy. I think that you are very, very intelligent. I would consider you, even though we had civil discourse, I would consider you an acquaintance now.
I appreciate it.
And I won't do any kind of negative videos on you because you were willing to pull up and have a conversation. But if you don't understand the environment in which we exist in which women feel comfortable labeling the men however they want to label them, but don't want to take accountability for what got them there in the first place, that's a problem, in my opinion. And you may feel differently.
No, listen, I'm not disputing that there are women out there that will take advantage of the current dynamics of our society right now. I'm not disputing there are women out there that will take you for more than half. I'm not disputing that women out here that will gaslight, do move mad, the toxic women out there. I'm not disputing any of those particular narratives out there. I'm simply trying to say that there should be a balance in both aspects. If we're addressing women, if we're addressing men, there should be a balance. You know what I mean? That's all I'm ever asking for. So in the context of what you were saying, I said, if I'm a man to man, I'm saying to you, bro, like trolling about kicking someone in the titty, bro, I don't believe that's the way that we should be going. And I don't feel that's the way that we should be operating as leaders of our community, right?
I do.
And I'm a,
because I will
that's
kick
what
a
we- that's
chick in
where
the
we differ.
titty. I will kick
And
a chick
I
in
know.
the titty without
Hence why the
any kind
trolling is not
and I
trolling.
won't feel no time. As a matter of fact, I will feel relieved as a result of it.
Hence why I said trolling is not trolling, because in the midst of it, behind it all,
It is
there's still
trolling.
that aspect of, like you said, you would want to kick someone in the titty.
See, now you're adding words in. You saying I want to kick somebody in the titty. Why would you do that, Kojo?
No, because what did you just say a minute ago?
I never
You
said
just
I
said,
wanted
would even
to kick
enjoy
a chick in the titty. Why are you adding
okay.
words in there?
No. What? Okay,
you know
so
what you're doing. That's why you're laughing right now, because you knew you.
No, I'm laughing.
You thought I was
going
gonna miss that word. I didn't miss it.
I didn't think that.
I didn't miss it, Kojo.
What you just said a minute ago, Anton, was very clever. You were saying in between that, you said, if a girl attacks you, whatever, you're gonna kick her in the titty and you're gonna enjoy it. I need you to understand where's the enjoyment in this.
I said, and I'm gonna feel relieved. I'm gonna feel relieved as a result of it. I'm gonna enjoy it. Yeah, absolutely. Add the entire context.
But why would you be relieved and enjoy, even if the person's attacking me, right? And I'm defending myself, I'm not enjoying the fact that I've managed to kick you or hit you. I'm not enjoying. That's not an enjoyment. That's why I'm saying there's an issue here.
I'm gonna enjoy and I'm gonna feel relieved that I didn't get my ass kicked by a woman, and that I actually defended myself successfully. I'm absolutely gonna enjoy and revel in my victory. Have you ever been in a fight before?
I've been in a fight before.
Have you reveled in your victory after you came out victorious, or did you lose the fight?
I've reveled in my win.
So what the fuck we talking about? You just agreed with me.
Not with a woman though. I don't revel in that. Well, I'm sorry, I can't.
Well, so you telling me the victory feels different. The defending of yourself and the victory feels different.
Absolutely.
Because you don't truly look at women as equal.
But I already told you that. But I already told you that. In the very beginning, we spoke about hierarchies.
Wait. So
you wait.
In the beginning, you said that you looked at them as equal human beings.
Yes.
So, do you look at them as equal human beings now, or do you not see them as equal human beings after the victory?
No. I see them
either
as
they equal or they not.
Hold on. I see them as equal human beings, meaning that I give the same respect I give to them as I give to a man. But in terms of our physical differences, I cannot be blind and say we are equal in this domain.
So you can't give them the same equal treatment or respect as you give a man.
No, you can still give someone the human decency and respect.
How is it possible that you would give them the exact same equal level of respect as you give a man, but a man, you know that there's a threat of violence, for example. A man you know is stronger. Subjectively, it's impossible for you to give a woman the same equal respect as a man. You can't.
Respect as a human being.
Because the threat isn't even as imminent.
No. As a human being, I can give you the same respect I would give a man. We're not talking about fighting here. We're talking about respect as a human being, common decency, how I treat you, how I approach you. I can still give you the same respect as a human being. We can give that same respect, right? If I'm talking to you or I'm talking to a woman, I can still talk respectfully. Now, if you're talking about getting into a fight, there is differences between a man and a woman.
Well, hold on, no, Kojo, you still talk to him respectfully, right? But then if you're dealing with a man and you got to talk to him and you got to deal with him accordingly, then you change how it is that you view them as far as whether or not they're equal or not, right?
Wait, say that again. Sorry, apologies.
If you start to find yourself in a pickle, depending on whether or not it's a woman or a man, then you change whether or not you view them as equal. You only view them as equal when everything is good. You don't view them as equal when everything goes bad, though, right?
If are you talking about in terms of again is in the situation that get into a fight? Is that what we're talking about?
Anything, fight, threat, difficult situation, whatever, so on and so forth. You do not view them as equal.
I can't compare the threats as equal. Yes, absolutely. I can't compare them.
It's a lot of different nuances. It don't even just have to be threats.
But I would still,
it could be a lot of different things.
Myself. Even with a man, I would still remove myself. I try to remove myself from the situation. The fight is a last resort. Like I said, maybe when I was a kid, but now I'm a grown-ass man.
But
I'm like,
here's the
fight
context.
is a last resort.
But here's the context. The reasons why you would remove yourself from the threat is different between a man and a woman, which means that the respect level is not equal. You would remove yourself from the conversation from a woman because you don't want to hurt her ass if she decided she want to come at you as a threat. You will remove yourself from the presence of a man because you don't want it to go left and you don't know whether or not you gonna win or lose. The threat of violence is escalated significantly. How can you place them on the same playing field as far as respect level when you understand the reasons why you're divesting yourself from those situations are much different?
We're saying the same thing.
We not.
Again, no, we are.
What I'm saying is that you saying that you view them as equal, and I'm disagreeing with you because the example that you've given shows that you don't.
No, because I made it very clear as a you have to separate the two issues. As a human being, I can give woman the respect that I also give to a man. So
you can give respect, but that don't mean you view them as equal.
I'm in my approach is equal. If I'm speaking to you, if you invited me onto your platform, which I respectfully appreciate, I've come onto a show. I'm having a dialogue with you. If a woman comes on and says, "Okay, I want to have a conversation with you," I'm going to have a conversation with her the same.
If you walking away from both situations, the reason why you walking away separates or it differentiates how it is that you feel about both of them. You don't feel the same way about both of them.
We agree that when it comes to threats, we are not equal. I just said that. That's why I said we're agreeing. Because when it comes to threats, we're not equal. Basic human right of how I treat you, though, that's not including the threat. That's just me treating you. We are not we are equal at that point. But
we're not talking about treating people as a basic human. We're not talking about in an instance where everybody is cordial and cool and you just like everybody and it's kumbaya. We talking about hyenas on the panel. That was the context and that was the conversations that was being had before that clip, before the part that you played in the clip even surfaced. What we talking about is women that are unruly, women that are going at men, women that feel comfortable enough to talk to men that they talk to men. And so the context is going to be different. We're not talking about all awesome people.
I know we're not, but we had to differentiate between the two. You're talking about a threat, and I said if we're talking about a threat, then it's different. That's the whole thing. Like if I'm talking to a woman and it's a normal conversation, or I meet a woman for the first time, I can give her a respect that I would give a human being, whether she's a man or a woman. I can give her that courtesy, right? Now, but if we're talking about threats, whether it's verbal, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, whether it's financial, whatever, the different threats or whatever you want to talk about, then yes, I understand. Because at that point, the threat is different. We're not equal in that particular threat. There's a different situation. So I'm saying to you, I agree with you on that point. We're not on a different plane here. On that point, we agree. The threat is different.
But the problem is that you still hold men to a higher standard as far as being accountable for the things that they do and say. Yet you still have women in your audience that say that women are equal and they should be treated at the same level. That's where the problem lies, is because it's not an equal accountability. See, the difference between you and I in a lot of instances.
But it can never be equal accountability, though.
The difference between you and I is that I'm an equal. I treat people according to how it is that they frame themselves. See, my wife, she don't put herself on the same level as me, right? She gives me a level of respect that would never, ever, ever cause for me to ever. I look at her as the most precious thing in the world. She's like a jewel to me. I treat her better than any human being on this earth short of my daughter. I treat her like gold, but I treat her according to the position and the stance that she takes towards me. That's the difference, is that y'all are enabling all of these women and you putting them all on the same level, and they not. They don't deserve to be treated the same way across the board. These women are evil. They hyenas. And they will snatch your life from you the minute that you turn your back if you continue to walk into this with your eyes wide shut. That's what I'm saying. And so you treat the women according to whoever it is that they are. You don't treat them the same all the way across the board just because she got a pussy. That's all I'm saying.
Disagree. Okay.
You disagree?
I said agree to disagree. Hold on one second.
What do you disagree?
I'll come back. Can I go to a loo quick? I need to go for a piss.
No. I mean, we can wrap this up because I got a meeting that I got to go to in 4 minutes. But let me just give me your final thoughts on what you disagree with, and then any final thoughts that you want to share.
Okay, so I think we're saying this, the same thing here. I think again from the very beginning, like we said, I believe that men and women as a basis are equal, but the roles that we play differentiate us, and that the roles also comes with different responsibilities, also comes with different rights. If you were looking at this from a biblical perspective, you're talking about man and talking about woman. No man has dominion over any woman. What he does have is what we see in Genesis 3, which is spoken about the punishment for both man and woman. The woman will pine after her husband and try to control him, but he will rule over her. That's the hierarchy you're talking about since the fall of man. If we then go into Ephesians and we talk about how man and woman should actually operate,
So you
both
went from
should
the
submit
Old
to one
Testament
another.
into the New Testament, and there's continued context. But go ahead, I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah. So when we talk about obviously New Testament, you're talking about how a husband and wife should then relate, because I'm going to make it specific to relationships. If we're talking about how they should relate, Ephesians 5 breaks it down that both man and woman should submit to one another. How that submittance looks is different. As a woman, she should respect her husband. As a man, he should love his wife. Those are the two things that both parties find the most difficult to actually do. So he issues that particular instruction for both parties. Then it says obviously a man is the head. I've got no problem with that. If you want to, I mean, we can. That's another day. We can go deeper into that another day. But talking about how the man is to submit to Christ and the woman submit to the husband. Fair enough. If you want to call it hierarchy in that respect, I can agree with you on that as well. And so for me personally, when I say about people being equal, it's as human beings, but as roles, we are differentiating. If you want to call it equity, you can call it that. We have different equity in this situation. And thus, if I would agree, I would say this. I think we both agree that men are leaders in their community, right? I think men are natural leaders.
I
Men
don't
are
think
called
that
to be
that's what I
leaders.
see. I don't think that that's what I see today. I think it's
But
hard
are
to
men
say that
supposed to be
men are.
leaders?
I think that it's hard to say that men are natural leaders in their community because everything is upside down now. I think that
Okay.
women are largely the ones that have taken over the role of the men in the community, and men have acquiesced and they've submitted themselves to their woman.
But
And so
what
I
role
think
should they
that
be playing?
now, I think that the context is that I'm not going to break down the whole biblical aspect of it because then it's going to lead into a
Yeah.
whole nother conversation. I think the context of it is that whenever you want to see the state of any community, all you have to do is look at the men.
I agree. 100%.
And so when you take that into consideration and you look at the black community and you see that we are in last place in every single thing, then it's hard for me to take into consideration that men are the natural leaders when the state of their community is fucked up.
But then you also have to ask the question if the men are supposed to be leaders, because if you look at the men, if the men are meant to be on top and they're not on top, then we have to look at ourselves and ask
Well,
ourselves,
it's not
why are
that they're
we not there?
meant to be on top. It's that women are supposed to be women and men are supposed to be men, but now you can go into society and change your gender now.
Okay.
Like there is no blueprint anymore. It's chaos. It's Sodom and Gomorrah.
So what should
it's
the
the
blueprint
devil.
be?
It's the
Should it not be
devil's
men leaders?
playground. And what I'm saying is that what we think should be, listen, everybody should submit to God. In my opinion, everybody should be a Christian, but everybody not.
I agree.
So what things should be versus what they are.
So that's why we're not disagreeing. What we're saying is we have two
Yeah, we're
different
not
lenses.
disagreeing on this.
You're giving a perspective of where we are, and I'm saying that I think I believe that where we should be is that we as men are leaders. Therefore, irrespective of what's happened with our forefathers, what we do know is if we get us together, the community also moves with us.
No.
Right? If I believe so.
And
I
I'm
believe
gonna
so.
tell
Because you're called to be a leader.
Not true. And that's not true. Because it's too many things that are retroactively ruining us and putting us behind an 8 ball. Right? Every single law that's created today has a woman in mind. Right? The family court laws hasn't been updated, even though they were crafted at a time or for a time that's much different than what it looks like today. And the people that are advocating against updating the family court laws are the same ones that's advocating for equal across the board. Right?
Whose fault was that?
What do you mean whose fault? It's Simp's fault. That's whose fault it is. It's the man that said, happy wife, happy life. I will never put my woman in this place. And this is the foundation of our disagreement, which brings it all the way back to what I was saying in the first place. Men that don't put things in their place, men that allow for things to fester, ultimately it turns into a situation where now you see feminism in the space that it is today. Now you see that these family court laws haven't been updated against the man. Now you see that men have no safety net And if you look across the board and you see every single thing that's been incentivized, it's been incentivized against a man. Everything. Even tethering a woman to the federal government. Women, black women are the ones that largely sway which way the election is going to go. They have just as much voting rights. They have just as, and see, my problem is that instead of you holding people accountable and being honest about what it is, you continue to dodge it and act like, oh, well, whose fault is it?
No, I'm saying we can hold both people. We can hold both people accountable.
No,
I agree with
no. Because you have no problem holding men accountable.
If you're a leader.
You had no problem bringing me to the front of the congregation, but you do not have that same level of smoke for women, even though they've advocated for equal, and they have just as much, if not more, right to do the things that they want to do than you do.
You can't put that label on me because I already told you I do hold women to the same accountability.
Every time I ask you to bring up women, every time I ask you to talk about women, you bring it back to both of us or men.
First and foremost, do we agree that men are leaders?
No, we don't.
So men are not leaders.
If you look at the state of things today, it's hard for me to draw that conclusion. You said men are natural leaders, and I'm telling you that they're not.
The men call, okay, let's say not.
How can you say a man is a leader when the majority of the women are the ones that's raising the children in the household, single without a man there?
Who is called to be leaders in our community? Are women called to be leaders, or are we called to be leaders?
Today, women are being called to be the leaders of our community.
Okay, so you believe that women should be leaders then in this generation?
I don't. If you want the type of results, we agree. If you want the type of results that I have and my family have, then you shouldn't. But what I'm saying today is that you have to observe the landscape, and you cannot live in fairy tale land because you have to deal with the reality instead of dealing with what it is that we think is the right thing to do.
And this is where we're agreeing. So now, are you saying that women should be leaders? You're saying no, and I agree with you. Are you saying there should be a dual partnership between women and men as leaders?
No.
Are you saying men should be leaders?
Yes, if you want the best results.
We agree. And I agree with you. If you want the best results, therefore, if we are saying men should be leaders, which I think we both agree as a foundation.
Correct.
As a leader, right? As you know yourself, you run successful businesses, right? You said it yourself. You're a made man, and I appreciate that, and I can look up to that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying to you that at that point, when your company starts to fail, it don't matter what the employees are doing. At the end of the day, it's you who's the head. The onus of accountability comes onto your head. And as a leader of my community or my business, the onus of accountability falls greater on my head. We watch shows like Apprentice, and you often see it's the person who was leading a project that often gets the boot. Not always,
correct,
but most of the time.
Correct.
And the reason being because that leader has rights and they have responsibilities. I think where we agree is we know, and I think maybe you're thinking that I'm going to try and corner you, so maybe I understand what you're saying. I agree with you. I'm saying this. If we have to hold both parties accountable, but for different things. For us as men, if I'm holding men accountable,
and I'm gonna let you have a final say. I'm gonna let you have a final say.
So no, it's your channel, bro. You can.
No. I'm saying I'm letting you have the final say in the conversation because I spoke extensively more just because I'm passionate about what it is that I believe. I appreciate it. I don't have any less respect. I actually respect you a lot more as a result of even being willing to have this conversation with me in the first place. So I'm ceding the end of the platform over to you just out of respect of you being able to pull up for you to give your final thoughts.
My final thoughts is I want to hold both parties accountable. I want to hold women accountable for the decisions that they make, and I want to hold accountable for us as men for the decisions that we make. As leaders, I hold men to a different standard in this particular aspect because when you're a leader, you have rights and you have responsibilities. And I think we agree here when we say that if we want our community to shift forward in the right way that we're looking for it, we're going to have to hold men and say, men, pull up. Because if we don't, the ladies are going to keep on going the way they're going. I think there's a way to do that. We may be disagreeing on the way how to hold parties accountable, almost like the Malcolm X, Martin Luther King situation. We may have two different ways of going about it. But in the end, there is some acquiescence that I can also say. There is some parts which I would say, there's some things that I just can't do that others can do will be essential for the community to move forward. I may not always agree with it, just like I don't agree with everything that Martin Luther King or Malcolm X did, but they needed both of them to work at the same time for our community to move forward. It's sometimes a necessary evil, we might call it. But I'm saying in this aspect, I want to hold both parties accountable, but specifically, I hold more for men in certain areas because they are leaders. And if they fix up, everyone else who follows you fixes up. You and I both know, you run your own platform, bro. If you say something, they're going to follow. If I say something, they're going to follow. Because we're both leaders of our
here's the context,
platforms.
though.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you got to make an example of a couple of these women, which is one of the things that I had to do on the Lapeef Network. Sometimes it's not just about I'm a lead and they gonna follow. Sometimes they get so out of line and they get so disrespectful and so entitled and they so indoctrinated by what's happening in society today that you just got to cut them off and you got to deal with them accordingly. It's not just about being a leader and they're going to follow. It's about holding these women accountable so that we can make sure that so the rest of these women don't get infected by what's going on. And that's what I think that feminism has done. It's infected
I would
women,
agree with that.
and it's pushed us to the brink to where the family structure is all upside down and what we think is right is wrong and wrong is right. And I don't disagree with you. I think that largely you have the right sentiment, and I think that you're very, very intelligent, and I have a lot of respect for you. I think that the Malcolm Martin analogy is probably a little bit more of an accurate one. You Martin, and I'm Malcolm.
I agree with that. I'll take
but
it.
I do think that is when you take into consideration the landscape, I don't think it's as simple as just saying men lead anymore. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, that's fair. And I would say if we can in the future, we can have more conversations like this because I think we can begin to move forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said, I consider you an acquaintance, and
same here.
I have no, and just for the record, I was cool with the reaction.
Okay,
I was cool with the reaction. I just wonder a lot of times once people get to a certain level as far as visibility, whether or not they can deal with the smoke on the other side of it that go along with it.
That's fair, and I respect the fact that you could hold your own on that, and there's no ill blood. So for me, like I said, I want to continue having more conversations because I think I also try to learn from different perspectives. Whether we agree or not, I think we can always learn. So for me, I do see you're a successful individual person, and I like to tap into that. You know what I mean? And
we can kick it. I think that we should do more collabs together. I think that you are a really good content creator. You're able to articulate yourself really well, and you have a completely different audience than I have. So, all right, my friend. Well, listen, I appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by, bro.
Anton, I appreciate it, man. All right,
bro. See, friends, see what happens when you have civil discourse. It doesn't always go left towards the end of the show, and it's not always smoke. We may have differences of opinions on a lot of things, but it doesn't have to necessarily end in bad blood. I think that this is one of the times, and this is why it's important to have the conversation. For the rest of you content creators that's scared to pull me up when I show up in your chat, and then you don't want to pull up to the show, I'm gonna bring you to the front of the congregation. But shout out to the homie. I appreciate you for tapping in, big dog. A Little Black Book 91. I do have respect for you. I am not the type of person that is trying to completely shape a narrative. I'm just saying that, for the rest of these content creators, when you throw shots and then my people send them to me, we gonna have civil discourse. Or it can go that other way. But I have a lot of respect for Little Black Book 91 for pulling up. And I think that a lot of the points that he made was true. And I don't disagree with a lot of the things that he had to say. So shout out to you, big homie. I appreciate you. We gonna get these other people to the front of the congregation. But shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you for rocking out. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I do have a meeting that I'm late for that I have to tap into. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat if you need to kick it with me personally. Email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com and we're going to get you set up. Patreon members, Bag Chasers. I just dropped the Patreon exclusive video today in the Patreon, so check that out. More to come. I got a great interview with Lamar Odom that I'm dropping in the next couple of days that we edited now. So that should be awesome. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank you, family. Thank you for always rocking out with me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. And please, please turn on your notifications. I need you to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. What's going on? Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.